Bell Atlantic.
Beautiful sunrise. Good morning. I'm Jim Ryan. Welcome to Good Day New York for this Thursday, February 11th, 1999.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Maria Gennaro. Making headlines this morning, the father of Amadou Diallo arrived in New York yesterday. Saikou Diallo wants the officers involved in the shooting arrested. Meanwhile, the investigation into the shooting shows that 3 of the 4 police officers were about 10 feet away from Diallo when they opened fire.
And as the Senate prepares to vote on the impeachment of President Clinton, 3 Republicans say they will vote to acquit. Now, that makes it uncertain that impeachment advocates will get a simple majority, never mind the 2/3 necessary to convict the president. And in California, a jury ruled yesterday that Philip Morris must pay $51.5 million to a woman who was a 3-pack-a-day smoker and came down with lung cancer. She says if she ever gets the money, she will use it to educate kids about the dangers of cigarettes.
In sports, the Knicks won their first game of the season, 101-288 over the Wizards. The injury-plagued Nets, well, they lost to the Magic, 89-81. In college ball, it was UConn over BC, 66-50, Iona over St. Peter's, 67-64, and LaSalle over Fordham, 78-71. Let's see what else is happening this morning, beginning with Julie Golden. Good morning.
Good morning, Maria. Well, we have some spring-like weather on the way, at least for a couple of days, and then a big change. We may even see a record high for tomorrow and then back to winter again. I'll tell you all about it coming up. Chelsea.
Hey, Julie, good morning. First good news, mass transit is on or close, but we have a power outage possibly causing some problems. We saw it live just a few minutes ago in Springfield, New Jersey, and also getting word of one in Summit. I'll give you all the details. Robin, good morning.
Good morning, Chelsea. Also ahead on Good Day New York, some of Hollywood's hottest ingenues like Gwyneth Paltrow are living single this Valentine's Day. So who should they be dating next? We're going to find out on Good Day New York. Jim?
All right, Robin. Also ahead, we will take a look at the overseas financial markets and see how activity there will impact on Wall Street today. First, though, let's head out to Dick Oliver. He's got another follow-up on the shooting by police of an unarmed man in the Bronx. Ollie?
That's right, Jim, and I'd like to introduce our audience to Richard Lewis, a fascinating man. He spent 2 decades on the New York City Police Department. He's now a minister. He is the only man in the history of the NYPD to be awarded 2 Medals of Honor. He's also written a book called Black Cop, The Real Deal. Well, Richard Lewis has also been investigating on his own the shooting of Amadou Diallo up in the Bronx, and let's talk to him right now. What you say, and I know you've said it, that this is a case of prejudice, pure and simple. Tell us why.
Well, because of the action of the 4 police officers. First of all, 4 white police officers in plain clothes in a black neighborhood is unprecedented in my eyes, and I believe in a lot of other black officers' eyes, because when you put 4 white officers in plain clothes in a black neighborhood, you know, you're sending a message also.
Now, you were on the job, you told me that you always had, if you had a team like that out there will always be at least one minority member of that team.
One minority member and a supervisor was always with us. We had a sergeant that was out there with us, and when we got into situations maybe similar to this, the sergeant called the shots.
What about the, we have the Daily News out today saying that the Bronx DA has 8 witnesses who saw this thing, 3 cops fired from 10 feet away, the 4th officer was behind a car. What about this procedure?
Well, you know, in training, the police officers, especially in combat training, the police officers are always trained to take cover. And I believe in this situation, all the police officers had cover, especially in plain clothes. When you're in plain clothes, you have the drop on any would-be criminal, any civilian. They don't know you're police officers until you declare that you are, show your badge, and then if you come on a person with your gun out and saying you're a police officer in plain clothes, that is nothing that will actually substantiate that you are a police officer. All they see is a man in plain clothes and producing a gun.
Now, as a minister now, you go around carrying a Bible these days, but you also still carry the 9mm. You have brought it out for us to show us.
Yes.
Tell us about this weapon and how it was used in this case.
Well, this weapon, is 9mm, it's clear. This 9mm was adopted by the police department because of its firepower. Firepower means that you have a magazine that holds 15 rounds, and then you could chamber a round and then put an extra round back in the magazine, and the gun will hold 16 rounds. And at one time, the police were being outgunned because we carried 38,
right, which
of course carried 6 shots. The criminals, the drug dealers, they had high sophisticated weaponry. And because of police being outgunned by the automatics, then the New York City Police Department adapted to the 9mm.
Tell us about the firing of 41 shots, 2 officers emptying 16 bullets at Mr. Diallo.
Well, that whole scene now, when I'm talking from a hypothetical perspective, that whole scene to me seems that you had 4 police officers with automatics. All it took was one. You remember the Kent State incident?
Sure, I was there.
Yeah, one National Guardsman fired, and all of his colleagues fired. So they didn't know what they were firing at, but they heard one shot. And that's what I believe happened there. You had one police officer initiate that whole incident by firing the first round.
You're suggesting panic here.
Panic. That's
Let me ask you, as a former police officer, as a man who's looked into this and has experience, does this incident rise to criminality in your mind right now?
Oh yes, that's the only way you could approach this. It's a criminal act, because when these police officers are supposed to be a highly trained professional, and they're supposed to evaluate a situation, make assessments before they take action. And in this case, they took deadly physical action. They took a man's life that didn't have a weapon, and it's absurd for them to say that he proposed a threat, and they had cover. They had to drop on him all the way. So how could he propose a threat?
All right, we just have about a minute left, Mr. Lewis. I'd like to ask you what should be done. I know you go into it deeply in your book, Black Cop, but what should be done about racism in the NYPD?
Well, I had sent a letter to Police Commissioner Safer after the Lowima incident, stating that the rank and file should be taken and given orientation on the sensitivity of the minority community, especially when they're going to communities that are heavily populated by aliens like Haitians or Jamaicans, and they should learn their culture so they'll know how the people act and react to situations. Now in Haiti, you know that the people have a dislike for the police officers because they've been suppressed for so long under the regime there. So when they come here, they have the same attitude. But if the police officer shows and acts and conducts themselves like he should, like a professional, then they wouldn't have no problems. They have to have sensitivity for the minority community.
Well, let's hope he digs out that letter and follows up on it. Thank you for coming out this morning.
Thank you.
Richard Lewis, former NYPD, and now the Reverend Lewis. All right, Jim, Maria, back to you.
I hope he's got a permit for that pistola that he was...
Oh, he's got a permit for it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we're sure he did.
He does.
All right, thanks, Al.
Let's see what else is happening this morning and the rest of the morning's news. Lynn Brown has that. Good morning.
Okay, thank you both very much. In connection with Dick Oliver's interview, actually, Amadou Diallo was a street vendor in Manhattan. Hundreds of vendors and artists lined the sidewalks in front of City Hall yesterday to protest his shooting and the mayor's policies about restricting their business.
It is a part of American experience for, free enterprise to grow and develop, and people have a right to work the streets to earn a decent living.
Now, the rally was peaceful and there were no arrests. The Reverend Jesse Jackson says he did not mean to imply that Governor Pataki is a racist. During a visit to Albany on Tuesday, Jackson compared Pataki to segregationist governors in the South back in the 50s and 60s. Jackson says he has no plans to apologize. Well, another mouse has been found munching on donuts in Midtown. Kimberly Richardson says outraged customers are saying rats.
Oh my God, here? Oh, you got to be kidding. Are you serious about that? Oh my God. It's the most vile. He's eating donuts. It's just gross. It's just gross.
It's what caught Jasper Friend by surprise.
He looked up at me and I could have sworn he smiled.
Smiled and chewed away on a glazed donut. Friend caught the mouse munching at the Dunkin' Donuts on 7th Avenue, across the street from Madison Square Garden. He was shooting a video for his film class about garbage in New York when he stumbled upon the critter back in July.
He was right up in the front row and he just had his face like buried in it and he was kind of digging away and I was like, oh.
Nobody's bothered to tell you that the little things off the edge are not where it came off the pan, it's where the rat ate it.
My Mice have been headlines at Dunkin' Donuts. Remember this one? Back in December? Different mouse, different store. A photographer found him feasting on a coconut-covered treat at the Dunkin' Donuts on 5th Avenue. The health department strongly recommended workers correct the situation, and the store shut down and started cleaning up. But now the dirty little secret is out about this location.
Coffee even bothers me because, I mean, they could have been in the grind, so I won't drink the coffee.
Hungry guy. That's really disgusting. And they get away with this stuff, huh?
Well, we weren't going to let them and found the manager.
This was videotape that was shot.
No, I don't have time for
Look, let me show you this.
I don't have time for
You don't want to see the big mouse eating the donut?
She disappeared as fast as a mouse. But seconds later, this. Workers started cleaning up the store, which has a history of violations. According to the latest health department inspection, 3 months after the mouse was videotaped, inspectors found conditions conducive to vermin existing in the area around an ice machine, flies present near food, and other potentially hazardous conditions. Dunkin' Donuts shares a kitchen with neighboring Nathan's and Roy Rogers, all owned by Reese, one of the city's largest restaurateurs. It says it used to keep donuts in display cases overnight, just for show, that the treats were never sold to customers. Reese adds it changed that procedure in December and intensified its extermination and maintenance procedures at all locations. Kimberly Richardson, Fox 5 News.
Well, just to follow up, the City Health Department inspected the Dunkin' Donuts shop on Tuesday and gave it a thumbs up. No mice. Well, more than 70% of city subway cars were unacceptably dirty last year. That's according to a new report from the Strap Hangers campaign.
That the MTA has made a mess of its effort to clean subway cars. Subway managers should roll up their sleeves, hire some new workers, and put an end to their spotty record.
And their report says the cleanest cars are on the number 7 line, the filthiest on the E line. Well, in sports, the Knicks finally did it. They have a win under their belts after 2 straight losses. They beat the Washington Wizards at the Garden last night, 101-88. 5 Knicks scored in double figures, led by Larry Johnson with 18 points. At the Meadowlands, the Nets were overwhelmed by Orlando, 89-81. And for the second straight game, center Jason Williams did not score a basket. In college hoops, number 2 UConn beat up on Boston College, 66-50. St. Peter's edged Iona, 67-64. Hofstra and Fordham both lost. Finally, an American theater classic is taking another stab at Broadway. Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman opened at the Eugene O'Neill Theater last night, 50 years to the day after the show began its original run on the Great White Way. This time around, Brian Dennehy stars as Willie Loman.
I saw when Dustin Hoffman played Willie a few years back. He was terrific.
I
it was
have
terrific production.
Have to show you something very quickly before you do that. See today's post? Well, if you open it up, there's a very lovely ad just for me. Happy Valentine's Day, Lynn.
Who did that, Joe Gaffney?
No, I did. I took the opportunity. They gave me blank pages. I wrote on them. What can I tell you?
All right. If the loved one doesn't come through,
whatever floats your boat, Lynn.
It floats my boat.
Whatever floats your boat, honey.
All right, we will see if they're floating their boats out on the highways and byways. Here's Chelsea.
All right, Jim. Actually, they're not. We have a couple of things. We'll go right to the maps. We have a mass transit delay coming in Metro North. This is on the New Haven line. A late train that was supposed to leave New Haven at 6:27 and arrive at Grand Central Station at 8:05. Going to be late. Equipment trouble, so expect some more delays on Metro North's New Haven line, possibly. Now we'll check in with Kenny, who is flying over the Summit and Springfield area, where it's kind of iffy. We're hearing reports that we have power outages, then they're back, then they're not. Well, right here, they're not. You can see this traffic light is not working, and a police car there directing traffic with some flares set up. This is Route 22 and Morris Avenue in Summit. And again, we're hearing reports of some sporadic power outages in Summit and in Springfield. So use some caution, especially at the busy intersections. Now to a live shot of the New Jersey Turnpike. We're going to show you what it looks like by Newark. Not too bad right there. Traffic moving in both directions. That's thanks to our IKEA camera. But we do have a major problem north of here on the Turnpike, an overturned tandem tractor trailer southbound by Route 46, and it's a possible possible hazmat job we're hearing about. We'll give you details as we get them. Back to the maps. Two-car accident on the LIE in Suffolk County being wrapped up westbound by Vets Highway. Lincoln Tunnel, don't take it in if you don't have to. It's a 30-minute ride. The Holland about 15 or 20. George Washington Bridge, the best of the three, and street cleaning rules, they are in effect today as usual. Jim, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Chelsea. So back to the three of us.
Well, I'll be here.
And Miss Golden is here because she wants to tell us what the weather is going to be like
She says
today.
spring's in the air.
Yeah, spring is in the air. The next couple of days, we're going to be feeling like spring. We might even hit a record high tomorrow. We'll tell you about that in a couple of minutes. Right now, we've got clear skies and 39 degrees, 57% relative humidity. Winds are right now variable, and the barometer 30.31 holds steady. Well, take a look at what's happening. First of all, we'll start you off with your northeast satellite, and that's going to show you pretty much clear skies for us for most of the day today. Back to the west, we see another area of cloudiness here. That's going to be moving into the area, and that's going to be our weather maker for late in the day on Friday and on into Saturday and Sunday as well. You can see it better here on the national satellite. That's the system, and that's going to be driving its way into here, and that means we're going to see clouding up by tomorrow evening, and then we're going to see some showers and then maybe even some snow showers as we head on into the weekend. And that's the area of precipitation there. Not close to us yet, but it will be. So your forecast for today going to shape up like this. We're going to see sunshine to start, then some clouds, and we'll make it up to into the 50s, well above normal. 51 degrees will be your high temperature today. Tonight, we're going to see mostly clear skies, just a little bit of patchy fog. 49 in the city, low 40s in the suburbs. But a big change coming for the weekend. I'll tell you about that in your 5-day forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes.
So don't put those sweaters away just yet.
Not yet.
All right. Thanks, Jules. Take a look at the morning's financial news and see how things are shaping up. Stocks are up on the overseas markets today. In Japan, the markets are all closed for a national holiday, so there was no activity on the Nikkei, but stocks were up in Hong Kong, where the Hang Seng Index gained nearly 71 points. Stocks were also up in early morning trading in London. The FTSE 100 is up 82 points. The dollar is not trading against the yen today, but was down against the euro yesterday. And in London, the price of gold opened at $286.90 an ounce. Now, stocks gained on Wall Street yesterday. The Dow was up 44 points. NASDAQ was down by 1 point.
All right, Maria. The Pilots Union and American Airlines are both saying they want to settle the disagreement that caused over 2,500 flights to be canceled. Now, a federal judge has ordered the pilots to end their work slowdown or face contempt charges. Fox's Baron James has the latest.
It's first day back.
American Airlines pilots I caught up with at DFW International were either getting back from their daily flights or getting back into the cockpit after their regular days off. It could be a while before more than 2,500 pilots who've called in sick or chose not to take overtime shifts get back to work, despite a federal judge's temporary restraining order.
It's really up to the pilots how quickly we can get fully back in the air, but it's our hope that the pilots will abide by the judge's order quickly.
The pilots' union spokesperson claims they are willing to comply 100%, but
this thing will not be over until we get a negotiated settlement.
The Allied Pilots Association says it's fighting for equality for both American as well as Reno Air pilots following the December merger.
I'm hopeful. The pilots that I've been talking to out on the line are all want the two parties to get back together and start talking and get this thing resolved.
It's not the first time American Airlines and its passengers have been through something like this. Back in 1990, another pilot sick out. At that time, a judge also ordered pilots back to work. The day after, the majority of the pilots didn't show up.
It's due into the Dallas-Fort Worth area at 2:20.
The two sides resorting to suing one another for millions of dollars before settling a contract dispute. Only a few dozen flights had to be canceled. That was then, this is now. Despite some 7,500 pilots continuing to fly the so-called friendly skies, almost 1,000 flights got canceled on day 5.
We are very hopeful that pilots will return to work quickly, and it's our intention to get back to the negotiating table with APA as soon as possible.
We will be encouraging our pilots to get back into cockpits.
See you later.
On another issue, you know, down in Brooklyn, there's an interesting case. A bunch of parents whose death of a child has touched their lives. They figure, okay, we can't get the person who shot the gun. Maybe we can get the person who made the gun. So they're going after, and the jury is still out in this case, they are going after the gun manufacturers to see if they have any responsibility in a death because of the product that they make.
A couple of states are proposing a law to hold the gun manufacturers responsible. So that's what our question to you is. Do you think that's right, or do you think that's wrong?
And if you've got access to a fax, give us a fax at 212-452-3990. Again, do you think that the gun maker should be responsible if a child, or anyone else for that matter, is killed by a handgun? Again, if you've got an opinion on that, the number to fax us is right there on your screen.
We want to hear it.
Okay, right back.
In my investment club, we're making smart choices. That's why I chose to lease a Chevy Cavalier. At only $189 a month, Cavalier's a great investment. My return? It's easy to own with Air, Automatic, and ABS. And it goes 100,000 miles before its first scheduled tune-up. I wish my stocks were that reliable. The smart money's on Cavalier.
Lease a Cavalier for just $189 a month, or buy and get $1,500 factory cash back or 0.9% APR financing. It's President's Week. Shop Chevy.
Nationwide Warehouse. We simply sell brand name furniture for less, period. No pretend sales, no gimmick finance promotions, and no hidden costs. We have over 60 living rooms to choose from. We have over 25 bedrooms to choose from. And we sell for less. Mattresses, pillow top mattresses, free layaway or same-day delivery. Selling starts today. First come, first serve. Call 800-451-7777. Nationwide Warehouse.
The slams, the hits, it's not the WWF, it's not even close. But these New York kids are taking it to the edge when they step into the ring.
Nobody's training these kids properly. They're going to get hurt.
Why are they risking it all on a wrestling obsession?
I got kicked in the face, shattered my nose up in here.
Backyard Brawls on the Fox 5 10 o'clock news tonight.
Truly gifted. This 7-piece gift includes a choice for lips and nails. Free with any 1950 Estee Lauder purchase through February 20th, only at Macy's.
Nurse! Where is everybody?
Good Day New York, brought to you by British Airways, the world's favorite airline.
America's Most Wanted is trying to take a bite out of New York City crime. You can catch America's Most Wanted in New York on Fox 5 this Saturday night at 9 o'clock.
The New York show airs this Saturday night and will tackle 3 infamous New York area crimes, including the Butchers of Brighton Beach case, which surfaced in 1995 when chainsawed body parts of a young Russian couple washed up on a Brooklyn shore. This week's episode will also try to catch Carlos Mario Felix, accused of violently raping a 17-year-old woman, then taking her on the most dangerous car ride of her life. Host John Walsh is hoping that viewers can put the people behind these and other notorious crimes behind bars.
Again, you can catch America's Most Wanted on Fox 5 right here Saturday night at 9 o'clock.
Julie has our most wanted 5-day forecast.
And you're going to want this one because it's looking pretty good, especially for tomorrow. Very spring-like, but change in the works as well. Beautiful morning out there right now. We've got sunshine. We're going to make it to 59 degrees. Could hit a record high tomorrow. We could get up above 60, but then as you can see, a big change and a drop in temperatures. Saturday, 50 degrees with some morning clouds and maybe even a snow shower around the area. Some flurries on Sunday. And it looks like Monday and Tuesday, we're back where we should be at this time of year.
All right, Jules, thank you.
You're welcome.
And coming up, efforts to save an endangered species.
2 beautiful baby white tigers. You won't want to miss this. We'll be back in just a moment.
Become big kitties.
Seaman Furniture's President's Day sale has everything you're looking for. Guaranteed 1-week delivery, savings throughout the showroom, and no payments or interest till August. Seaman Furniture's President's Day sale going on right now.
See Siemens first.
During the Lincoln President's Day sale, remember this historic figure. $499. That's a $499 monthly lease for your choice. Lincoln Town Car with all-speed traction control, or the front-wheel drive Lincoln Continental. Two of America's greatest leaders in luxury. See your Lincoln dealer today. Because after all, nobody knows more about President's Day sales than Lincoln. What a luxury car should be.
It's PC Richard & Son's Giant President's Doorbuster Coupon Sale. Check your local newspaper for hundreds of savings on appliances, electronics, and computers during this giant event. $40 off washers, $25 off dryers, $75 off side-by-side refrigerators, $200 off Sony Nightshot camcorders, $50 to $300 off televisions, 10% off any Sony boombox. PC Richard & Son's Giant President's Doorbuster Coupon Sale. Now through Monday. Be there.
For the best brake service, shocks, and mufflers, Meineke's the place.
At Meineke, you won't pay a lot, but you'll get a lot.
I guarantee it.
It's the elephants patting themselves on the back.
The tigers who leap to extremes.
It's the turn, the twist that's not to be missed. The clown in every kid's dream.
No childhood would be complete
without a ringside seat to the greatest show on earth.
Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey, still the greatest show on earth.
Coming to Continental Airlines Arena, Nassau Coliseum, and Madison Square Garden.
If staying in is better than going out, then we must be doing something right. The Siemens Package. A whole room full of comfortable furniture, packaged at one low price.
Again, just to remind you, our facts question this morning is, should you be able to sue a gun maker if your child or any child is killed by gunfire? Some parents say yes. Who's to blame? Well, we will have both sides. We're waiting for your opinion as well.
And also on a very much lighter note, Robin Carter is playing Cupid. She's doing a little celebrity dating game. Who's Gwyneth Paltrow's? And I cannot talk this morning. Mystery date. We'll be back in just a moment. And you getting that one out.
If you're looking for a computer, there's no reason to go anywhere else but Circuit City. We've got it all, from software and hardware to printers, high-speed modems, memory, or you can design your own system. And you'll always get a guaranteed low price.
Friday through Monday at Circuit City, get a $100 mail-in rebate on all desktop computer, monitor, and printer packages and notebook computers. Like this compact computer with monitor and color printer, just $774.99 after mail-in rebates. Save $225. Friday through Monday at Circuit City.
Loehmann's, the legendary off-price store, is staging a spectacular warehouse coat and fur sale at the Armory, today through Monday, Lexington Avenue and 25th Street. Take an extra 50% off our low ticketed prices on thousands of coats and jackets for women and men. Find over $3 million worth of furs, too. They're already marked 60 to 70% off department store prices. And you can take an extra 10% off right at the register. Loehmann's Warehouse Coat and Fur Sale, today at 9 a.m. The Armory, Lexington and 25th.
On an April morning in 1912, over 2,000 dreams set sail for America. On a June evening, 85 years later, the Broadway musical that celebrates those dreams made history all over again when it won the Tony Award for Best Musical, Titanic. Titanic, the dreams sail on.
Fly Myrtle Beach Jet Express non-stop from Newark to Myrtle Beach from only $59. Call 1-800-FUN-TUCSON today.
You will find a place where life actually slows down long enough for you to see it. Where you learn that raindrops on the roof have a language all their own. And if you listen, a fire will talk to you. You discover that the best part of the day is whenever you say it is. General Foods International Coffees. It stirs the soul.
Thursday thrills with 2 all-new specials. First, it's intense, it's powerful.
Oh my God!
It's scary as chases and riots. Plus,
They start out as good times
You fell.
and become the most terrifying accidents ever. Parental discretion advised. When good times go bad, too.
Thursday Thrill starts tonight at 8 on Fox 5.
Hello.
The Nanny tonight at 6 and 6:30 on Fox 5.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Good Day New York. 39 degrees right now under clear skies. It's going to be a nice day today, but we'll have complete weather and traffic for you in just a few.
We will, but first, our top stories. Here's Lynn Brown. Good morning, Lynn.
Good morning to you both, and good morning, everyone. This will probably be the last full day of deliberations in the Senate impeachment trial. 3 Republicans broke party ranks yesterday, announcing they will vote against removing the president from office.
And I intend to vote not proved as to both articles. That is not to say that the president is not guilty, but to specifically say that the charges, in my judgment, have not been proved.
The American people made a judgment about this. He said it was wrong, but it was personal. It violated his marriage oath, not his oath of office. This was a sin, but not a crime. It was between him and his wife and his God, but not between him and the American people.
The vote on the perjury and obstruction of justice articles could come later today, but most probably tomorrow. Meanwhile, the White House says President Clinton is open to a censure resolution if that's what the Senate deems appropriate.
He understands the wrongful nature of his behavior, but it is up to the Senate to make decisions on censure, whether they want to do it, how they want to do it, what the censure would be, and we'll leave it to the Senate to make those decisions.
Now, speaking to reporters yesterday, Senator Charles Schumer said the debate behind closed doors is the best he's ever heard during his 18 years on Capitol Hill. Long lines and delays will continue for a while at American Airlines, even though a judge has ordered pilots to end their sick-out. The union says pilots will return to work, but the airline says it could take several days to get things back to normal. The Coast Guard is trying to beat the clock and burn the oil that's leaking from a cargo ship grounded in Oregon. A big storm is on the way that could break the ship apart, releasing the remaining oil, 400,000 gallons. Small grenades were used yesterday to set off a blaze. That didn't work. A demolition team will try again today. In sports, the Knicks will try to follow up on their first win of the year when they play the no-name Bulls in Chicago tonight. The Knicks whipped the Washington Wizards at the Garden last night, 101-88. The Nets are in Milwaukee tonight after losing to Orlando at the Meadowlands, 89-81. And the Mets have signed reliever Turk Wendell to a one-year deal, avoiding arbitration. And Fox 5 is set to announce the signing of Tim McCarver as a Yankee announcer. He is expected to team up with Bobby Mercer for 42 games this year. Finally, a Texas woman proves that you're never too old to become a U.S. citizen. Roberta Hernandez took her oath yesterday in San Antonio on her birthday. She just turned 107.
Wow, bless her.
Oh,
All right.
that's fantastic.
All right. You're right up there with Oliver.
Ooh, it's a nasty in here today.
All right, let's see what's happening on the roads and the rails. Here's Chelsea.
You are bad. All right, good morning to all of you. We're going to go right to the mass transit map. We have a late train on Metro North's New Haven line, and they say expect some delays on all trains leaving New Haven going into Grand Central Station. I would say anywhere between 10 and 30 minutes. Once again, that's all due to equipment troubles from an earlier late train. Everything else mass transit-wise, looking good. We're going to check in with the chopper. He is over the New Jersey Turnpike. Kenny live in high 5 there. That is the scene of an earlier overturned tandem tractor trailer, which looks like it is being worked on at the moment. But this is the New Jersey Turnpike southbound at Route 46 East. There we go. There it is. Ugly scene, and you're going to find big delays. And look at that traffic moving at a crawl right next to it. That is rubbernecking. Do not rubberneck if you head out the door. You're going to add to this delay. So again, Turnpike southbound at Route 46 East. Try to stay away or budget yourself some extra time. And don't forget some malfunctioning traffic lights still working in the Summit and Springfield area, so budget some extra time there as well. We're going to show you a live shot of the Belt Parkway in Queens by Kennedy Airport, and that is just typical bumper-to-bumper volume we see every day. Westbounders are stop and go, but the eastbound side looking good. Okay, back to the maps. Bruckner, Expressway southbound approaching the Triborough. We have a disabled vehicle plus construction, so that's going to be a tight squeeze for you. Lincoln Tunnel about 30, 25 now. Holland about 20, and the George Washington Bridge is about 25 as well. Street cleaning rules, they are in effect today, citywide. Maria, back to you.
All right, Chels, thanks so much. Let's see what's going on with that weather. It was nice yesterday. I enjoyed it.
Well, you're going to enjoy today and tomorrow even more. We might even hit a record high tomorrow.
Like that?
All right.
And then we're turning back to winter.
I guess we have to.
So enjoy it while you can.
But the long-term forecast is spring.
Spring.
Yeah.
That's
And then
right.
summer.
And even further down the road, summer. I'll be
You heard it here first.
visionary.
What a brain trust we got going on here.
Scary, ain't it?
Whoa.
All right, let's take a look at what's going on outside right now. Clear skies and 39 degrees. 57% relative humidity. Winds are light and variable. The barometer, 30.31. It's holding steady right now. And take a look at what's going on out there right now. We're going to see basically lots of sunshine for most of today, and it's going to feel very warm. As you can see, 50s all up and down the East Coast, some 70s even down in the Carolinas. If you're lucky enough to be going golfing down in the Carolinas, well, that's what you're going to be seeing. But then we see this cold front start to push its way through. That'll come through over the weekend. Cold air in behind that, so it looks like we're going to see the cold air and some precipitation. It's well in the midsection of the country right now, but that's going to be moving in our direction, so we're going to see some showers, maybe even some snow showers by the weekend. Your forecast today shapes up like this. We're going to see mostly sunny skies for most of the day, some clouds hanging around, about 51 degrees for the high temperature. And then tonight, we're going to see some patchy fog, but mostly clear skies, 49 in the city, low 40s in the suburbs. And then, as I said, a big change for the weekend. I'll tell you about it coming up.
All right, Jules.
Hey, you're going to like this story.
Yeah?
Jules has kitties. You don't have any cats, right?
No.
One cat. Wait till you see
He
these
just
kitties.
has Saoirse. That's enough.
Which requires enough attention.
That's right. Well, look at these two. These are really cute. They're getting a lot of attention. These are two new stars at the Everland Zoo in Seoul, South Korea. These little fur balls, look, they're baby white tigers, and they were born last fall, 1 month apart. The zoo is on a mission to try to preserve the species. Now, the zoo already has 8 white tigers, but these two are the only cubs around. And as you can imagine, they're getting all the attention. Aren't they sweet?
They are so pretty.
But they get to be big.
They have big paws, so you can see
formidable.
that they're going to be big kitties.
Yes.
All right, up next, a much more serious topic. A child is shot. Who's to blame? The person who makes the gun or the person who shoots it?
It's right out of the headlines. We're going to have both sides of that issue, but first we're going to check out the Dodge commuter forecast. We'll be back in a moment.
Good Day New York, brought to you by the new Dodge. It's about change.
Dodge Caravan. Dodge Intrepid. Come elevate your standard of driving.
You've been living in a bomb shelter most of your life.
He's not from the neighborhood.
Sky! I have never seen anything like it before!
She's not the girl next door.
This is your first visit to La La Land.
But on February 12th,
I told you I've never driven before.
opposites attract.
I do not fall in love with weirdos.
Yes, you do.
I've only known for 5 days.
Yes, you do.
Brendan Fraser, Alicia Silverstone, Blast from the Past. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday.
Barney's New York announces your mission. Penetrate the Barney's New York warehouse sale now through Sunday, February 28th. Capture savings of 50 to 70% off regular prices on the finest clothing, shoes, and accessories for men and women, as well as gifts for the home. Secret new shipments of merchandise added daily, so repeat the mission. I repeat the mission. Do not get distracted. Save 50 to 70% off regular prices at the Barney's New York warehouse sale. Now through Sunday, February 28th, 255 West 17th Street between 7th and 8th Avenues. Come back alive.
Stop in today for our 2 donut and coffee combo, just $1.99.
Use one of these daily shower cleaners and you're missing something. The confidence you get from the Lysol name. Introducing Lysol Daily Shower Cleaner. Beyond saving time, it's the clean you trust. Till you have our word on it, you can't call it clean.
Good Day brought to you by International Delight. Slow down and enjoy the moment.
I'm gonna be late for work.
Step out of the car, please. Looks like you folks need a little lesson in slowing down. Here, have some International Delight French vanilla. Enjoy the moment. Mornings are precious. Treasure them. Find some me time and make the most of it.
Put a little delight in your morning with International Delight Non-Dairy Creamer.
Ah, the French. What they do with vanilla, it's magical.
All right, today will be day number 6 of deliberation for jurors in Brooklyn deciding a controversial lawsuit against gun manufacturers. Now, the lawsuit was filed by victims of gun violence. The plaintiffs are seeking millions of dollars in damages from 25 gun makers. They claim that manufacturers oversupply states with lenient gun laws, and they say this leads to underground trafficking of illegal weapons and gun violence. The gun manufacturers say they should only be held liable if their products do not function correctly. Gun companies say making them liable for how their guns are used is similar to making automobile makers liable for car accidents, even when the accident is not caused by a malfunctioning vehicle. All right, we're discussing that question this morning, and taking part in our discussion out in various parts. Richard Aborn is in the West Village. Mr. Aborn is counsel at the Camber Group, and he is a gun control advocate. And downstairs in our newsroom, we have Frank Borzelleri. Frank Borzelleri is executive director of the New York Rifle Association, and he thinks that you should not hold manufacturers responsible. Let's go out to Mr. Aborn first, and Mr. Aborn, make the case for holding gun makers responsible.
Well, the case is very simple. These manufacturers are in the commerce, or in the business of making guns, and they derive great profit from it. It is also highly foreseeable that a good majority, in fact 25%, of their weapons will be used in crime. If they're going to be in the business of making guns and making a profit from that, they need to be willing to bear some of the cost for the harm that it inflicts on society. It's simply unfair to sit there in an insulated position and say, well, we had nothing to do with the weapon, with the crime, when in fact, without their weapons, most of these crimes would not be committed.
Well, let's get the other side of the case now from Mr. Borzelleri.
Well, I hardly know where to begin. The 25% figure on guns manufactured used in crimes is obviously a fabrication by Handgun Control Incorporated. I would use, Jim, not only your example about automobile manufacturers, but also, let's say, Budweiser. I mean, the beer companies know that a certain segment of the population will get drunk, will cause automobiles accidents. Do we then sue the car manufacturer and also the beer manufacturer? I mean, where does this end? If a company puts out a defective product that should have been recalled, you may have grounds, but because irresponsible people use responsibly made products in the wrong way, you just cannot go after these manufacturers. It's really there's case law on this, where the Maryland legislature passed legislation saying, look, this is ridiculous. You cannot hold lawful manufacturers responsible for products that they made, which they made quite well. It is the responsibility of the person involved.
Let's get Mr. Aborn back here, Frank, if we may.
Well, in fact, we do hold, for instance, bar owners liable if they serve liquor to a drunken person. But the issue is not, is every single gun used in a crime? A significant majority of guns are in fact used in crime. The big difference is with automobiles, their intended purpose is not to kill. The intended purpose of liquor is not to kill. The intended purpose of guns is to kill. This is an ultra-hazardous product, and it has to be brought under control. And one of the ways that's going to be brought under control is by this litigation. And in fact, the law is rapidly moving, as we see in this Brooklyn case, towards fixing liability on these gun manufacturers. For instance, gun manufacturers are well aware of safety devices that they could build into guns, but they refuse to do so because it would make the product slightly more expensive. That is going to be part of the litigation that's evolving around the country. Secondly, they purposely flood markets where there are very weak gun control laws, vast beyond the ability of that market to buy those guns, because they know that gun traffickers go to those markets and buy guns in bulk. So they are, in this sense, participating in this criminal element.
Frank?
The proof of that is now overwhelming. It's come out in this recent case.
Mr. Borzilleri?
Well, I think it's a very weak case. I think Mr. Aborn himself knows that it is. His own organization, Handgun Control Incorporated, wanted no part of it. They have a judge who is notoriously anti-gun, who they sought out to handle this case. In fact, this judge was overturned last year by the circuit court on a similar type decision. As far as the manufacturers being held liable in the same way that that a bar owner would, certainly a store owner who left his store open and allowed people to steal his guns would be liable, but not the manufacturer. In the case of the bar owner, the manufacturer of the liquor is not held liable.
But see, we're getting closer to the point. In fact, the gun manufacturers could do a lot to make sure that retailers don't sell these guns into the illegal stream of commerce. And the reality is they don't do a single thing. In fact, they do just the opposite. They flood states like Georgia, Texas, Florida, Mississippi, states that are notorious for supplying guns to this city with gun manufacturers. When I was in the DA's office here, I prosecuted a lot of large-scale gun distribution cases. And very often we would find that those guns that were used in crime came from states outside of New York City and outside of New York State, because the laws here are very, very tough. The laws outside of the jurisdiction are not. So as long as the manufacturers are purposely supplying excess numbers of guns to those jurisdictions, they're going to have to bear some of the responsibility. This is not an issue of putting the gun manufacturers out of business. This is an issue of saying to them, if you're going to derive a profit, you're going to have to be willing to absorb some of the costs caused by your product.
Mr. Borzilleri?
Well, I think this is just part of the greater picture of these type of organizations simply not wanting people to own guns. As far as the commerce goes, that is a federal problem. The very guns that they're trying to crack down on now, trying to crack down on the manufacturers, are guns that Handgun Control Incorporated, for example, wouldn't want people to own in the first place. So they're looking for any means they can to keep people from owning firearms, because they simply don't like people owning guns, even people who have never committed crimes with them.
Well, that's the typical argument of the NRA, that this is really a ban movement, and they resort to that argument when they know that their other arguments are weak. The reality is we have put out in front of the country exactly what we would seek, and it's a very simple proposition. Yes, we do want licensing and registration of firearms. Yes, we do want a limitation on sales to one gun every 30 days, not an unreasonable number. And we do want mandatory safety training before a person can get a license to buy a handgun. Now, those don't seem to me to be unreasonable propositions. They don't interfere with the right of any law-abiding citizen to buy a gun. They wouldn't stop anyone who doesn't have a criminal record from buying a gun. In fact, they could buy 12 guns a year, and I don't know who needs more than 12 guns a year. Those are perfectly reasonable propositions, and based on our experience, they have a very high degree of likelihood of further cutting down on gun crime.
All right, Mr. Borzilleri?
Well, look, Richard knows that it's not a weak case. If anyone thinks it is his organization that wanted no part of it. They've lost these types of cases recently. Maryland has enacted legislation against this nonsense, and we think it is a very weak case. And quite frankly, we feel that the arguments are very simple, that you simply cannot sue a manufacturer when an irresponsible person uses their product irresponsibly. You punish the person. When 18-year-olds drink in one state and then they go to a state where the drinking age is 21, it is the irresponsible person that has crossed state lines.
Mr. Borzilleri, speak to the point, if you would, made by Mr. Aborn, that gun manufacturers have available to them all sorts of safety devices that they do not put on guns simply because it would make the product more expensive.
Well, first off, the evidence that they would make the product safer is dubious at best. For example, they have this new chic craze, the gun lock. Now, in order to operate the gun lock, the time that it would take to do that, really the person could be killed. When an intruder comes into one's home and it's dark and you're trying to reach for your gun, the idea that you're going to unlock the gun with a special key can be quite dangerous. It's kind of like when you're trying to open your mailbox at 1 o'clock in the morning with that little key. It's very irresponsible type thing, and it's just, again, another obstacle that's put in the way just to keep people from owning firearms.
All right, final point from Mr. Aborn.
This really completely devoids the facts. A gun lock takes 3 seconds to unlock. It's a finger combination. In the states that have required similar things, shootings of children, in fact, have gone down some 15%. These are extremely effective laws, and eventually we'll pass these laws at the national level.
And I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there, gentlemen. I apologize for cutting you off, Mr. Aborn, but our time is up. And thank you both very much for giving us your thoughts on this very important issue. Appreciate it. Maria?
Which will be hotly debated for some time to come, that is for sure.
All right. We will take a short break and be back with lots more of Good Day New York.
had a lot of good teachers in the public school system. And with the training I got from Automotive High School, I was able to get a good job with Brooklyn Union Gas. But I also got a great academic education thanks to teachers like John Butterfield. Mr. Butterfield always pushed me to work hard. He taught me how to speak in front of a lot of people. He taught me a lot of things that I'm using in college right now and on the job. I'm going to college full-time while I work here. Mr. Butterfield used to tell me I could be anything I want to be, anything, always told me this. And I really owe a lot to him.
Cats, America's favorite family musical.
People say it's the best furniture buying experience we've ever had. Quality, design, service. Maurice Valenci. See for yourself.
Good Day New York, brought to you by Red. For high-speed internet access, Red means go.
Does anyone want to go really, really fast? Now your business can move faster, more affordably, over standard phone lines. Introducing Red. 17 times faster than 56K. 8 times faster than ISDN. Call 1-888-RED-2000.
Thursday thrills with 2 all-new specials. First, it's intense, it's powerful.
Oh my God!
It's scary as chases and riots. Plus, they start out as good times.
You fell.
And become the most terrifying accidents ever. Parental discretion advised when good times go bad, too.
Thursday Thrill starts tonight at 8 on Fox 5.
Why are these New York kids risking it all on a wrestling obsession?
Somebody can die. Somebody can die.
Backyard Brawls on the Fox 5 10 o'clock news tonight.
Some information for you here, Black History Month. As a matter of fact, coming up a little later, Esther Pierre will be at the Schomburg Museum. She's going to show us some of the beautiful works of art by Black artists there. So that's coming up in just a little bit. But first,
the very sunny forecast.
All right.
We've got clear skies right now and 39 degrees. We're going to make it up into the 50s today. And again tomorrow, you'll see in your 5-day forecast. 59 degrees is our predicted high. We might even get above 60, which would be a new record for tomorrow. We'll see on that one. 50 degrees on Saturday, and then some rain or maybe even some snow showers in the afternoon. Sunday, a chance of a few flurries, otherwise partly to mostly sunny, and only 39. Big change in the temperatures. And then 42 by the time we hit Monday, 40 on Tuesday. So a couple
Looks
spring-like
like you're going
days.
to have to warm up with someone on Sunday, Valentine's Day. Woo!
All right.
That's one way to keep warm.
Do you have any suggestions?
Well, we'll talk about that later. Meanwhile, for an idea of what to expect when you walk out the door this morning, here's Chelsea.
All right, Jim, Maria, Julie, good morning to all of you. We still have some delays on Metro North's New Haven line. All southbound trains going into Grand Central Station. About 20 to 30-minute delays because of an earlier stalled, or late train rather, due to equipment troubles. Now, we have the chopper up. They say the accident's being cleared in Newark, though. Expect maybe some minor delays on 1 and 9 northbound by 78. A 3-car accident just cleaned up. You saw the tandem tractor trailer on 95 flipped over by 46 earlier. That one is one to steer clear of. And on the LIE westbound, there was an earlier accident by Vets Highway. It's still on the shoulder, causing some big backup. Speaking of which, Lincoln Tunnel inbound 45 minutes. Holland about 20 or 25. You'll find the same at the George, and street cleaning rules, they are in effect today citywide. Jim, Maria, back to you both.
Thank you, Chelsea.
All right, Chelsea. I want to point out, too, before we head it over to Robin Carter, who's doing this whole thing on Valentine's Day, Jim has been wearing a tie with a heart on it.
Hearts.
Each day this week, and he will continue to, because it's Valentine's Day coming up. Huh, Robin?
You better believe it. And with Valentine's Day approaching, we thought that we would play Cupid for some of Hollywood's hottest stars who don't appear to have a Valentine this year. People like Oscar nominee Gwyneth Paltrow and Leonardo DiCaprio. Well, with me to play the celebrity dating game, Mike Lewides, the weekend features editor for the New York Post, and Barry Nan Cohen from YN Magazine. She is the entertainment editor. And we're going to do a little Hollywood love connection here this morning. Thanks for joining me. Okay, first of all, let's talk about Gwyneth Paltrow. Now, we know that she was dating Ben Affleck, and we're not sure if she still is. So where does that stand, and who should she be dating?
It's over.
It's completely over.
Completely over. We're going to see another one of those situations with Minnie Driver where they have the camera on her
when Matt won the Academy Award. Same thing is going to happen this year. When she wins the Academy Award, we're going to see Ben going like that.
So who should Gwyneth be dating?
Gwyneth should wait for the minute that George Clooney becomes available.
George Clooney?
Yes. I'll tell you why. Now, our readers at YM have a huge crush on George Clooney. And the thing is, Gwyneth, we've all watched her date the it boy of the moment twice, and it hasn't worked. So what she needs is somebody a little older, a little more mature. He's a producer. He's, you know, he's thinking
and he's got a
way long in the
girlfriend.
future. He's got a girlfriend, but you know.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Freddie Prinze Jr., okay.
The next it boy.
All right.
He comes from a showbiz family. She comes from a showbiz family. I think it would work.
All right, we'll see about that. Let's go to Demi Moore, who is in the throes of being separated from Bruce Willis. We're not sure where that stands. Who should Demi be going after next?
Well, I don't know. YM readers are all about lasting love, and I don't think anybody's ready to give up on Demi and Bruce yet.
Mike, what do you think about Demi? If it's over.
It is over, but I don't know why I've been thinking this, but for the last few days, Ed Burns.
Ed Burns and Demi.
She likes him a little younger. She likes him in the industry.
And Eddie's very, very cute.
I think those two would
They
be
would
perfect
be
together.
a very attractive couple together. All right, let's talk about Minnie Driver. Of course, she was dating Matt Damon last year, as you pointed out. She seems to, what is she sort of the Hollywood serial dater?
I think so, but I think, you know, I think what she really ought to do is hook up with the other great Hollywood serial dater, and that's Jerry Seinfeld.
Ooh.
They both have great senses of humor. They'll laugh at each other's jokes. I think it's great.
Mike, who do you think Minnie should hook up with next?
A nice doctor. I think she needs a break.
So Minnie, stay away from the showbiz
guys.
All right, Leonardo DiCaprio, one of the hottest young men in Hollywood. Every girl in the world has a crush on him, and yet we don't hear about Leo dating anybody. Is he, and who should he be with?
Well, we never know who Leo's dating, but he is trapped in the body. He is this rock star trapped in the body of an actor. So at YM, we think there's nothing better for one rock star type than another rock star type. We think he should be with Natalie Imbruglia.
And you, Mike, Leo?
The problem with him is he likes hanging out with his buddies, so he doesn't have time to date different women. I think, though, that that new actress Rachel Lee Cook, and he would be perfect.
All right, so Leo's still available. Thank you so much for helping us play the Valentine's Hollywood game with us, Mike and Barry Nanko, and thanks so much. All right, Marie and Jim?
Gee, I didn't hear your name batted around, nor mine, Robin.
I know.
I guess we're out of the loop there,
I'd take George Clooney.
I guess you would. Don't blame
to get
you.
on the line.
Yeah, right.
The long one. All right, thank you, ladies. Coming up in the next hour of Good Day New York, the latest news, weather, and traffic, of course, and Julie's complete forecast. Controversy over school uniform.
Do uniforms influence a child's behavior? Plus, Liz Smith's here. She's got the latest buzz on Shannon Doherty. We'll be back in just a moment.
Father, daughter, conservative, liberal, Rachmaninoff, rock and roll, practical, not. What brings them to the table? Introducing Honey Nut Chex, a delicious new taste, an amazing new crunch. If they can share this family value, what next? Maybe conversation? Maybe next time. New Honey Nut Chex. Welcome to Generation Chex.
He was quite the little tap dancer.
Look at that little bottom.
First set of bagpipes.
What a sweetie pie.
Oh, let's see what else I got here.
Time to put away a few things? Storage Solutions at IKEA's Make Room for Living event.
Okay, champ, come on, let's show him how smart we are. What's 2 plus 2? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4! That's right, he's a genius. Look at him, he's a genius, I'm telling you.
Video storage. Lots of it at IKEA's Make Room for Living event.
Home Improvement, tonight at 5:30 p.m. on Fox 5.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Good Day New York. I'm Maria Gennaro.
And I'm Jim Ryan. Headlining our news at this hour, a California jury ruled yesterday that Philip Morris must pay $51.5 million to a woman who was a 3-pack-a-day smoker and came down with lung cancer. She says if she ever gets the money, she will use it to educate kids about the dangers of cigarettes.
I think people are fine. As the Senate prepares to vote on the impeachment of President Clinton, 3 Republicans said they will vote to acquit. That makes it uncertain that the impeachment advocates will get a simple majority, never mind the 2/3 necessary to convict the president. The father of Amadou Diallo arrived in New York yesterday. Shaku Diallo wants the officers involved in the shooting arrested. Meanwhile, the investigation into the shooting shows that 3 of the 4 police officers were about 10 feet away from Diallo when they opened fire.
In sports, the Knicks won their first game of the season, 101-88 over the Wizards. The injury-plagued Nets lost to the Magic 89-81. In college ball, UConn over BC 66-50. Iona over St. Peter's 67-64. And to the sadness of our executive producer, LaSalle trounced Fordham 78-71.
Darn.
Now let's see what else is happening this morning, beginning with Julie Golden.
Good morning. Well, we have 40 degrees already. It's going to be a nice mild day for us today. May even hit a record high tomorrow. And then the weekend, it's getting cold again. Back to winter. I'll tell you all about it coming up on Good Day New York. Chelsea?
Hey, Julie, my purple twin. Good morning to you. Mass transit looking good except for Metro North. We have some problems on the New Haven line and lots of problems on the roads. We'll get to all of them in just a few minutes. Esther, good morning.
Good morning, Chelsea. Black History Month continues, and we are celebrating Black History Month here at the Schomburg Center in Harlem. We're going to be taking a look at 100 different New York artists and their works. All right, Cheryl, what's going on?
Not much, but I do love the hairdo. Esther looks very good. Well, we're going to be talking with John Tesh live about his brand new CD. It's called One World. And did you know that he's nominated for a Grammy in the New Age Music category? It's coming up right here. Liz.
Thank you, my dear. Well, listen, remember Sharon Doherty? Well, she's back, and I'll be back to tell you a little more about it. Maria.
All right, Liz, also ahead today, we're going to look at the issue of public school children wearing uniforms. Does it really have an impact on their behavior? We'll find out. But first of all, we're going to head over to Lynn Brown. She has the rest of the morning's news. Good morning.
Good morning to both of you, and good morning, everyone. A construction company working on a Midtown high-rise is facing fines after last night's explosion and fire. The blast apparently occurred in a propane tank on the roof of the building on 7th Avenue and 37th Street. The fire didn't spread to the rest of the building, but heavy smoke injured at least 6 people in a building next door. The construction company was given summonses for improper storage of propane and not having the proper certificates to use it. A city fire marshal says his dismissal for a dress code violation was just a smokescreen. He says the real reason he lost his job was because the fire commissioner wanted him fired for being wired. Penny Crone has the story.
When we hear about a fire, we usually only see the flames and the action. But after that's over, fire marshals investigate. Now one marshal has been given the boot, possibly for investigating the wrong people.
There was harassment that was being perpetrated on the fire marshals of New York City by if we didn't take a contract that we would be sorry.
Back in May, Fire Marshal John O'Brien met with Commissioner Tom Von Essen and fire officials about union complaints.
I went to a meeting and I had a tie that was undone, and I was told that I was going to get charges.
But the charges escalated, and a few days before Christmas, the 16-year fire veteran was fired. But was his undone necktie really the reason? Officially, the department says yes, but there's a lot more to the story.
There's nothing more than a pocket recorder that one puts in a pocket to take notes.
But you put it in your pocket. Did you tell them that the recorder was running during this meeting?
No, I didn't. We were being harassed, and we were being pushed into something that wasn't correct.
But you couldn't have walked in and said, I have a tape recorder in my pocket?
It wasn't directed at Commissioner Von Essen. It was directed at somebody totally different.
Do you still have the tape?
Absolutely.
Will you give it up to the fire department?
No.
Von Essen apparently spotted the recorder during the meeting. He then asked O'Brien to leave.
Did they try to settle it recently?
They tried to offer me demotion in 30 days, but that's,
What kind of demotion would that have been?
Back to firefighter.
I'm Penny Crone, Fox 5 News.
His father was in a hospital bed for 99 days and nearly died several times, but Joe DiMaggio Jr. never once paid a visit. In an interview with Inside Edition, he says he loves his father but hasn't seen him in 2 years. DiMaggio Jr. is 57. He works in a California junkyard and lives in a trailer. He calls himself a free spirit. The Nashville Medical Examiner says Tammy Wynette died of natural causes last April, so there is no reason to exhume the body. 3 of the country singer's daughters are calling for a review of the case. The stated cause of death was a blood clot in her lungs, but no autopsy was ever performed. In Los Angeles, a judge ordered 19-year-old Athena Rolando to stay away from Brad Pitt for the next 3 years. Cops say Rolando got into Pitt's home through a window last month. They found her in the actor's bed wearing his clothes. Pitt was not there at the time. In sports, the Knicks finally have a win under their belts after 2 straight losses. They beat the Washington Wizards at the Garden last night, 101-88. 5 Knicks scored in double figures, led by Larry Johnson with 18 points. At the Meadowlands, the Nets were overwhelmed by Orlando, 89-81. And for the second straight game, center Jason Williams didn't score a basket. In college hoops, number 2 UConn beat up on Boston College 66-50. St. Peter's edged Iona 67-64. Hofstra and Fordham both lost. Finally, 17-year-old Patrick Salinger lives near Syracuse. He was so happy the other day when he finally got his driver's license. Apparently too happy. Cops say he went out celebrating and had way too much to drink. He ended up driving his father's car over a snowbank and onto 2 parked cars. He wasn't hurt, but he is facing DWI charges. Officials say he's not getting any special treatment, even if his dad is on the town board.
Here's your license. There it goes.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Hello, I must be going. All right, Chelsea, I'm sure that all the drivers on the roads this morning are quite sober and quite responsible, and that's the reason that everything is going so well, right?
Oh, sure. And Jim, look, I have a present for you. Happy Valentine's Day. You ready? There it is. Featuring...
More hype for that.
I'm going to
magazine.
autograph that one for you. Yeah, I wish. Okay, let's go to the maps. We have some mass transit troubles to tell you about. Metro North continues to have some slowdowns going into Grand Central Station on the New Haven line. 20 to 30 minutes from an earlier problem involving some equipment troubles. So, again, Metro North, some delays. Let's check in with Kenny. He's over the Lincoln Tunnel approach, and boy, is this a disaster. They say 45 minutes, they're telling me, at the Lincoln Tunnel to get into it. And you can see there, traffic is not moving. It's not an accident or a disabled vehicle. It's just a lot of people choosing the Lincoln this morning. I would not do it. 45 minutes there. If you want to go for the Holland, it's about 20, and the George Washington Bridge is about the same as well. Live shot now. This is another ugly scene. The Belt Parkway getting past Kennedy Airport had an earlier, well, actually, we have an accident working farther west to kind of add to the normal, typical westbound delays. The accident involving 3 cars by Ocean Parkway, so do be careful as you head out the door. Back to the maps quickly. 95 southbound, the ramp to 46 still subject to closure, that overturned tractor trailer, and some sort of unknown substance leaking from it. We're not really sure, but of course you want to steer clear. Also, Long Island Expressway on the island still jammed up westbound into Vets Highway from an earlier accident. It's still on the shoulder, and we have another one in Nassau County. It's eastbound at Lakeville Road. Street cleaning rules, they are in effect today as usual. Maria, back to you.
All right, Charles, thanks so much. Let's take a look at that 5-day. Actually, no, we're going to look at the currents right now. Huh?
Yeah, the current forecast, and it's looking pretty good for us. It's a beautiful morning out there, and I think we're looking at the West Village there. We've got mostly sunny skies on a beautiful sunny morning. 40 degrees right now, and the winds not too bad. They're been light and variable. And they're now out of the east at about 6 miles an hour, and the barometer is rising. Take a look at what's going on for today. Well, first of all, we have to say that we are well above normal over the next couple of days. The normal should be about 39 degrees. The record high would be 58. The expected high for tomorrow, 59 degrees. If you could give me my clicker, I'll switch on over there. And basically what we're looking at is lots of sunshine for today, and probably just a few clouds rolling in. Temperatures above normal. Thank you very kindly. And as you can see, the temperature's still up in the 50s around most of the area. We've got this cold front that's going to move on through the area. We've got cold air in behind that. So as we're going to see temperatures above normal today, then we're going back down into the 30s as we head on into the weekend. So we'll see some morning rain, maybe even some snow showers for Saturday, and then the cold winter winds come in our direction. Take a look at what's going on for today. We're going to see sunshine out there, maybe just some clouds by later on in the afternoon. And temperatures up into the 50s. Should be a nice warm day for today. Spring-like, get your rollerblades out and take a little zip around the park if you can. And then tonight, mostly clear, just some patchy fog developing, 49 in the city, 40s in the suburbs. I'll be back with your 5-day forecast in just a couple of minutes.
All right, Jules, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, our senators continued to debate behind closed doors yesterday in Washington. Fox's Steve Santani reports that a verdict in the impeachment trial of President Clinton could come, well, as soon as tomorrow.
One senator emerged from the second day of deliberations suggesting that the articles of impeachment may fail to win even a simple majority vote.
I think it's pretty clear that the perjury will not get a majority. And I think the obstruction one is very, very close. It's obvious neither of them will come close to 2/3.
3 Republicans announced today they'll vote against both articles of impeachment. Jim Jeffords of Vermont was the first, followed by 2 others.
Absent the proof that I find necessary to justify the removal of a president, I will vote to acquit on both articles.
I intend to vote not proved as to both articles. That is not to say that the president is not guilty, but to specifically say that the charges, in my judgment, have not been proved.
But all 45 Democrats are expected to vote against conviction, including Iowa's Tom Harkin, who took direct aim at independent counsel Ken Starr.
What we have here is an out-of-control independent counsel with his own political agenda and vendetta, with a blank check.
Meantime, the idea of censure for the president continues to lose ground on Capitol Hill, even as the White House says it's something the president may accept.
The president has said he would be open to some censure. He understands the wrongful nature of his behavior.
In Washington, Steve Santani, Fox News.
All right. Are you getting ripped off by your repair shop? Maybe, maybe not. But you know, you may be, and chances are pretty high that you wouldn't even know about it, especially if your mechanic follows most insurance company policies. Now, this is very interesting. This month's Consumer Reports magazine says auto insurance routinely force repair shops to use generic parts when fixing vehicles for their claims. Now, those generic parts save the insurance companies big bucks in comparison with the original manufacturer parts. But experts warn that these budget parts may harm the resale value, safety, and manufacturer's warranty of your car. See? Didn't even know they did that. There is a class action suit against Geico and Allstate because the practice is hidden. Most people are unaware that they're getting imitation parts. They think they're getting the real McCoy. Huh, little change there.
Oh, well.
You know, this has been talked about for a long time. I went to a private school and they made us wear uniforms, and it was always said that, you know, the children behave better if they are wearing uniforms.
That's what we hear.
I
went to a public school and I always wanted to wear uniforms.
Did you? wanted to wear uniforms?
I wanted to wear uniforms. I kind of like the plaid skirt.
Oh, Annabelle, I need to talk to you.
It's funny because a lot of the kids who wear uniforms here, the first thing they do is like is either adapt the uniforms or get rid of them.
I know.
That's right.
Yeah, they find ways to make it fashionable, right? Mm-hmm. Well, 2 years ago, just 3% of the nation's public schools required students to wear uniforms. That number is steadily growing across the country. But are uniforms successful at what they were intended to do?
Navy blue and a white shirt.
For the last 5 years at Lowell Elementary in Long Beach, California, kids have been wearing uniforms to school.
It's been really great as a mom because we don't have these little discussions every morning that can turn into battles about, you know, what pants, what shirt.
Long Beach was the first district in the country to officially adopt uniforms, and they've never looked back. Parents can opt out of the policy, but few do.
We just put it on in the morning saying, I'm going to school and I'm going to do the best I can, and not being less than or more than any other child, but being equal.
Oh. The results? Attendance is up and crime is down. Since 1993, before the uniforms, reports of weapons, chemical substances, robberies, and sex offenses on school property have all plummeted. While there's no proof of a direct link between uniforms and behavior,